Welcome to a video demonstration on inside-out turning. This is presented by Kevin Barb, a member of Old Country Guild of Wood Turning in Schenectady, New York. In this video I will show you how to turn inside-out ornaments like these pieces shown here. These first ones are composed of 6 pieces with a hollow interior. It is first turned from the inside and then the pieces are inverted to create the internal cavity. And I will show you how to do that. This is a 4-piece design. This is also a 4-piece design. You can make them out of 3 pieces. You can make them out of any number of pieces, actually 2, 3, 4, and so on. One thing that I will not cover tonight is how to actually perform the turning itself. Here I only show the making of the inside-out process. At the end of this video there is a link to another instructional video of mine that covers all the details of spindle turning and the uses of multiple tools, etc. With that, let's get to it.
Okay, there are 2 features of the preparation for inside-out turning that the more accurate they are, the much better off you'll be. And one of those is the angle of the cuts for the pieces. Now if you have a 3-piece cut, it's 120 degrees, or a 4-piece cut, it's 90 degrees, or a 6-piece cut, it's going to be 30 degrees or 60 degrees, depending on the angle that you look at. So the one thing that I like to do is just take a triangle, a draftsman's triangle, and then just move this up till about 30 degrees. And you can come in here and just check that that is perfectly aligned to your blade. Then we can come in and we will rip that angle. Now that that is cut at 30 degrees, the next most critical parameter is to get the lengths of the sides of the parallelogram that you're going to cut to be exactly equal. And that's a little bit tricky because you'll note that now I have this very sharp edge. When I place this up against my fence, it actually goes under the fence a little bit. So it's really trial and error. If you have a 3/4 inch piece of stock, the length of this leg cut at 30 degrees, the length of this leg is 0.866, which does not exactly match any real fraction. It's very close to 0.875 or 7/8. So by trial and error, I'm going to set my fence for about 13/16. Let's try that. It's about a 16th less than 7/8. And then I'm going ahead and cut another one along this thing. Now I only cut a short length here because in order to make sure the length of these legs are correct, you really only need 2 pieces. However, to check the angles, you're going to need, in this case, 6 pieces. So let me rip this off a little bit here. So very importantly is that these 2 cut edges are exactly the same length, and that looks pretty darn good. That looks actually fantastic. All the edges are the same, if you will, length. So if I compare those edges, this thickness is the same. If I compare these edges, this thickness is the same. I mean, everything, this is a very good size because they are cut to the right thickness. So the 6 pieces that I cut to check the angle, as well as you can see the length of the edges of the parallelogram, are also the same. But when I put these pieces together to check the angle, this last piece is just about perfect. It's not perfect. However, I see a few gaps here and here and here, but so small that I think the glue joint will fill that up. But that's the key parameters, that you get exactly 30 degrees, or if you're using a 4-piece, you get exactly 90 degrees, and this is close enough. And again, my links are the same, so I can proceed. You can also use a three-piece design using the same. You can do an inside-out turning with 3 pieces using the same 30-degree cut angle. If you want more pieces, 7, 8, 9, I think it probably have to be an even. No, it doesn't have to be even, because 3 is not even. But you just have to calculate your angles. I'm sure there's some online resources that can help you out with that. But these angles look good, and the lengths of the parallelograms look good. So I think we're in good shape and ready to go. Just a point here, if I didn't say it, what I cut these out of was just a scrap piece of pine, because you're going to want to do your trial and errors on some pine or something, some similar wood that you might have scrap before you start on your final project. Guncalo Alves, also known as tiger wood, was given to me by a friend who was recently moved out of town. And I cut some of the pieces he gave me into 3/4 inch pieces, and I have a piece of 3/4 inch maple, and we're going to cut our components for our inside out turned Christmas ornament from these boards. So here are my 6 pieces that are cut from 3/4 inch stock at 30 degrees. The edges are very much the same length. I don't know if we saw that. Let's see, the edges here are very much the same length. If I check the other half of the parallelogram, yep. So, and the angle I assume is good because I had checked it previously. So we'll put these together and bind them up with some hose clamps, and we'll begin to hollow the inside. Now the 6 pieces are clamped, pipe clamped. And you can see the, if you will, accuracy of both the angle and the sides of the parallelogram. This is pretty good. Now over to the lathe. Now what I'm going to do, it's on the lathe. The lathe is going this way. We're just going to tape these pieces down for safety. And I'm going to make a cut here in the center. Okay, the inside turning is done. I did have a few, there's a good chip and there's a good chip here before I sharpened my bowl gouge, and I think that helped. So go in there with a sharp tool and go in there slowly at first to minimize those chip outs. So I'm cutting basically a half circle here, and I decided to put this little bead down there. So hope I didn't screw things up for the outside, but we'll see how it goes. So this is the ornament glued, clamped, and waiting till the glue to dry before we now turn the outside of the ornament. And again, you can see the feature that I said I cut a little bead on there. I think that'll be okay. I also did, maybe you can see it in there. There it is, right there, if you can see that. So I wrote my initials inside and the year that it was made. And again, this will be a gift. So the top seems to be very well concentric, as the bottom does also, so I think we're in pretty good shape to let that glue dry. Grab it on this end so I can take off this drive center and put on my 4-jaw chuck. Okay, here it is set up and we are ready to roll. So it's going to be an ornament here with a finial here, and we'll see how it comes out. So here it is, a work in progress, coming along. Let's see if I can get these walls a little thinner and narrow down this finial. One of the must-dos is to finish the finial from the end in towards the ornament, and actually you can see this has all been sanded down to 400, and now I'll work back and finish the rest of the ornament. Okay, just another shot before I break something here. The finial and the ornament are largely done and sanded. Now I need to work on a top and cut it off. Tip to the back, because if I look at this movement now, this would be very hard to cut. This isn't too bad, but it's work back to here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it, put a finish on it while it's on the lathe. I think I'll use maybe a salad bowl finish, and then I'll come back and cut this off, and then I'll have to finish the tip of it afterwards. Now, the last time I did one of these videos, I was approaching the cutoff. I guess it was for just spindle turning. I made a captured ring video, and when I get to the cutoff, battery died, so, or in a disc base or something. So we'll do the cutoff here. I'm using a just a simple straight edge skew. And that's it. Now the finish, I have to finish the end, sand it, prep it, paint it, and then we're almost done. Okay, here I just sanded the top and put a hook in it, or an eye hook, I guess. And now I'm going to give it another coat of salad bowl finisher. And that's the finished product. I do have one more coat to go on the top of the ball, but that's how you make inside out turning. Now, did anybody notice my mistake?
Here I'd like to give credit to Don Orr, who made these two-piece inside-out turnings. I mentioned earlier you could turn theoretically with any number of pieces, and I just wanted to put this in to show you what a two-piece inside-out turning would look like.